Hi there, friends. Ken here, your Thrifty apprentice. Happy Sunday. And in today's special Etsy release video, we are going to be exploring 11 handmade custom sketchbooks that range from watercolor sketchbooks to mixed media sketchbooks to even sketching and writing journals in order to encourage inspiration and brainstorming ideas that you can take and just run off into the ether with, and maybe even drive you to the Etsy site to explore and look around. Let's get started. Let's explore. Journal number one. Now, sketchbook number one is a wood pulp bound sketchbook that I actually constructed about a year and a half to 2 years ago now. I do believe there's a video on it. I'm not exactly sure, but for some reason, after I made the cover for the sketchbook slash journal, I put it in my backstock, and it has sat there up until the point that I was putting together the idea for this video, and I happened across it. So I decided to go ahead and finish it up. And as we come upon each one, I'm going to quickly walk you through it, as I said in the beginning, for inspiration. So this one is really simple and straightforward to make. I simply took the front of a cereal box and cut it down to 8.5 by 11 so that it would fit the standard cardstock size. I found fabric that I enjoyed, which in this case happened to be a placemat, or a fabric placemat for a table. I covered the cereal box, and to the inside I glued just a regular piece of cardstock in a color that matched the fabric. All of that was glued down with Fabrifix, and then I sewed around the sides just to make sure everything would stick together well. There you have it. That's how easy that particular cover is. Just made a journal emblem for the front, and this one was made with the intentions to actually be a art journal, where you would, like, for instance, if you had breakfast, maybe you sketched your breakfast and you sketched out what you had. You would just kind of sketch the different things that go on throughout a day. That was kind of the idea I had as I was making these. I bound it with embroidery floss, just used the black and yellow to kind of accent the colors that went on in the rest of the journal. On the inside, a bow is knotting, and this is 117-pound watercolor paper that is bound inside. And it is very easy and straightforward, guys. Anyone can make one of these. And if you have any questions about any of these journals, please do not hesitate to jump in the comment section. I will answer the questions as soon as I possibly can. And that is journal sketchbook number one. Sketchbook number two. Again, another sketchbook that was created a while back that is just seeing its light of day for the Etsy release. Now, this one is a dry media sketchbook. I will take you through it really quickly. It's a little bit more complicated to make than the first one, but the most important thing is that the cover is a small journal cover that is actually made from index card, as you can see. So, and that's the cover. Everything else is just really standard copy size, cut down to be standard copy size paper. And as I said, all of it is meant to be sketched on. Now, this is more of the junk journaling style. However, I do keep in mind as I create these type of sketchbooks slash journals that I do try to appeal to artists. So this paper can be journaled on. You can, do your note taking, write your list, but it can also be sketched on. You can use graphite or colored pencil on these pages. And it's just something that I put together. Some of the pages are actually watercolor dyed and splattered. so that you won't have a white background to start on as you sketch. Some of them have pieces of artwork that I have done that's cut out in different shapes here. Just, you know, and you can build compositions around that, or you can move it to another page if you chose to. It has stenciling throughout it. And you know, this just to help break that whole fear of starting with a blank page. I was sure to try to include other index card elements inside the journal sketchbook, so that, you know, you could keep in mind that that's what this was all made from. And little lace fabric details. A lot of this is me crossing the junk journaling method and ideas into sketchbook for art. And I love doing that. That's the style in a lot of my journals. So when you hear me say junk journal, most of the time know that that journal can definitely be sketched in. And here, just, you know, kind of a little, and you can draw there. You know, although it's ruled, you can still draw on that with no issues. It'll take color pencil wonderfully. A lot of these pages will. So, and you can even do some light watercoloring, like if you're using a watercolor pencil, something that wasn't going to require a lot of, you know, water. And it's got tags that can be journaled on and bookmarks that are taped throughout different areas of it. And, you know, it, for some reason, some other sets like this were released on Etsy, but this particular one wasn't. So instead of releasing it as a set, it's being released as a standalone journal. It has so many gadgets and doodads in it for you to just kind of explore, have fun with. Here, just a little cluster again, so that you don't have to start with a blank page. There are, a lot of my journals contain additions. Here is a little ephemera pack, which will have stickers and all of that goodness in it. And just another journaling card that you can either write on or draw on. And these I did leave the thread on simply because I felt like it added just a little extra pizzazz to those particular elements. So these are the type of, when I say junk journal, it's definitely going to be decorated along this type of line and whatever theme I have with the journal. But just know that artistically, you can actually sketch and use a lot of different type of dry media in anything that I classify as a junk journal, because I try to keep that in mind as I design them. And that is sketchbook number 2. Sketchbook number 3, another oldie but goodie that is just making its light of day on Etsy. This is a clear cover mixed media journal, so you can use both wet and dry media in this. I think it is pretty cool. I'm gonna show it to you guys. Pop it on off. It is bound with a wood pulp paper, but as you can see, the cover is completely see-through, and it has been adorned with its own decorations of different types of stamps, because this does kind of set the mood for Paris, traveling, a little romance with the candles through the see-through cover. And again, it is bound with a mixed media wood pulp paper, so you can do all types of artwork. Or if you chose to turn it into a writing journal, hey, there's no rule that says you can't write on a watercolor or a mixed media paper. And it's really straightforward. This particular one is really all about the cover and what you see as you look through the cover. Forgive any reflections. And it is bound with black embroidery floss, and I simply have a ribbon tying it closed, but you don't necessarily have to keep the closure on it. You can do as you will with that. And that, friends, really straightforward, really easy. That one didn't take too long. I think all of the pizzazz in that one has to do with the cover, and it's simply made from a lamination pouch, just in case you were wondering. So there's an idea. Try using your lamination pouches and seeing what you can do to turn them into covers for your sketchbooks. And that, my friends, is journal number 3. Sketchbook number 4, one that you have seen recently. This was one of the projects that was completed in order to do the review for the Color 72 count of color pencils. I simply colored the stamped images on the front with the colored pencils, put a matting layer behind it, found a really cute piece of pattern paper and cut it down to size, glued it on front, just like you would a greeting card. On the inside, I put down a piece of fabric that is a piece of muslin that's running down there to protect the spine. And on the inside, I just glued on an additional piece of pattern paper backed by the same pink that I used to put the matting layer here. And I did that on both sides, in the front, in the back. Very simple, very straightforward. Bound in 117-pound wood pulp watercolor paper. So once again, you can go really crazy with water media, but it's really cute, simple. It's really simple and straightforward, easy to carry and travel with, especially for traveling. But it's really light and small, easy to fit into something, squeeze down in between many things in those purses and bags. I love journals like this, so keep that in mind. You can turn a simple piece of pattern paper into an entire sketchbook with just a little bit of creative thought, my friends. And that, simply put, is journal number 4. Journal number 5. Now, journal number 5, again, was completed a little over a year ago, or at a year ago now. It's along the same designs as journal number 4 with just a few different elements. So in this particular case, the base for this sketchbook is simply a file folder, manila file folder. After I cut it down to the size that I wanted it to be, because I used the fold that's in a manila folder in order to create the spine, the rest of the journal was built around that. So here we have a wood pulp bound mixed media book, which contains wood pulp 90-pound mixed media paper. And I think there's one sheet of 140-pound cold pressed watercolor paper inserted in this journal as well. So you'll get a page in the front half of the book and a page in the back half of the book that is 140-pound watercolor paper. Just kind of wanted to mix it up a little bit. Very straightforward. I covered the file folder with a piece of fabric. To the inside of that fabric, after gluing it down, I put a piece of washi tape and glued it down to protect the spine there. And then I covered the inside with another piece of pattern paper. As you can see, I did some stitching both on the front and the back. Almost the same as the other one, but not quite the same as the other one. This one is different also in the fact that the pages are removable. The signature is not bound directly in with any type of stitching. So you can actually pull the pages out and remove them or replace them at will as you see fit. I think it's a very cool idea and design on a journal. The front was simply decorated with a wide washi tape, a piece of pattern paper, a couple of buttons, and the closure that I made out of pattern paper. Used a little eyelet to close it there and string for the closure to form a wraparound. And you simply close the sketchbook like so. It's more so the landscape orientation, but I still think that it's really simple to make, really straightforward. You don't need many elements. And a lot of these that you are seeing will have videos in the DIY playlist that you can go and take a look at if you really want to see these in more detail. A lot of the journals that we're seeing are going to be in that particular playlist. And that, my friends, what were we? Journal number 5. Keeping that feel is journal number 6. Designed exactly the same way, landscape, but this one just has different things to decorate it with. It is exactly the same, so it'll probably be listed in the same listing as Sketchbook A and Sketchbook B. This one has ribbon closure, which you knot to the front. There's a beautiful piece of butterfly pattern paper with some stones to create the cover. To the inside, I did the same thing. I used manila file folder to create the base. I used the fold in the folder to create the spine, covered it with fabric, put washi tape down the spine to protect it. On the inside, instead of using fabric paper, I used those green file folders. I thought that was pretty earthy and neutral and straightforward. I laid those down on the inside to cover the fabric pieces, and then put a gold butterfly, which is actually part of a cake decorating kit, if I'm to be honest. It is bound with 90-pound mixed media wood pulp paper, so it will take both your water soluble and your dry mediums. And the back is the same way, just with a bigger butterfly. That would be the back of the journal, sketchbook. And I say journal, sketchbook interchangeably because, you know, I think they're interchangeable. And again, it simply closes or stay closes if you needed to with a simple knot on the front of the journal. I didn't tie that knot too well, but you get the point. And that, my friend, is sketchbook number 6. I actually like that. Sketchbook journal / number 7. This one is another recent one that you guys may remember. And it's a doozy. It's a gator mouth. It will not close. There are so many different elements and tricks in this particular journal. Now, this is a dry media journal sketchbook. You can write in it. You can draw in it. Use your graphites, your regular pencils, your color pencils, even maybe watercolor pencils, as long as you're using, you know, light watercolor in it, or light water in it. So this is really full of stuff. I can't go through here and show you guys all of it, but it is so many different things in this journal, from pages that fold out for you to write, sketch, or draw on. There are tags that are meant to serve the same purpose. There are things tucked inside pockets that are inside the covers on both the front and the back for you to draw or write on. Additional little books kind of come throughout the book where you have areas to draw and write on. Pages are color coded to match the cover of the book throughout the cover of the book throughout the book. Yes, I said that right. Get that in there. Okay. And yeah, there are so many things in here that it would take me a lot of this video in order to pull everything out and show you everything. There are so many different bookmarks and envelopes that's going to have stickers and embellishments in it. Upside down bookmarks that are pinned in with paper clips that hold other areas to write and to draw. Full fold out pages like this that you can either draw on the back, or you can cut those out and those apart and use it to create mixed media pages in other areas of the book. There are so many different things inside this particular one. Bookmarks that are meant to be customized and drawn on. This particular one is an envelope that is closed across the top of a page. Inside there are little like journaling cards that have all these different flowers and things on them. Just so much inside this little book. You got fold out elements that give you other books that fold down. There are just a lot of little tricks to this book. And it is one of the ones that I love. I do. I like this one, and I do. I hope someone picks it up and shows it love. Here are just, you know, pages that fold out, that have little designs on them. Just so many things to hopefully keep your interest and your fun. And hopefully you're picking up some ideas from the things that I'm showing you in case you want to incorporate them into any of the journals that you make. Feel free. I don't mind sharing ideas, guys, borrowing ideas. See, in the back here we have another little journal that's a fold top, you know, just, and in the back of that is another little tag. So just a lot of different elements and things throughout the course of this book that I think and hope you will enjoy. And that is bound with white embroidery floss, and it's made along the signature style of journal that I have adopted to make, which is the card front journal. And a lot of them you will kind of see that card front or look like it like a card greeting card being decorated theme throughout, because I really love to bring that card making element into my sketchbook creations along with all the other little things that you see. And again, that is a dry media sketchbook, and yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It's got a lot in it. That is journal number 7. Number 8 is a little traveling cutie. I love this one. Now, this actually was designed and created a long time ago, guys. Back when I first got into journal making, and I sat down one day and wanted to put one together that I felt would look really, really cool, based on some ideas that I kind of gathered from some other places. Now, this is a wet media / dry media, mixed media traveling. That way, I wanted it to be designed so that you could do anything in it. So let's just take a look at it. As you can see, it is designed to emulate a wallet, and it does have the little handcrafted, original, handmade tag on the back. I love that little stamp. And I actually used embroidery floss to create the closure for it, which simply wraps around the wallet. Okay, you open the wallet from the front, and I try to give it this little buckle journal card front look. It opens. Now here's a space where you can actually keep a pen or maybe a little water brush. Now you will keep in mind it's going to kind of round out the way that it closes, but that area can be used for that. As you open it up, you're going to run into other different little elements that kind of like flip up, flip out. There's a little area to write on that comes out. There's another area to write on. In that particular pocket is another page to write or draw on. And I'm saying write, but this is actually mixed media paper, so it's all meant for you to do little doodles and little sketches on. And you can use your watercolors and your brush pens and all those different elements. The wallet opens to this side, like it's so many things in here as well. And to each side of each signature, you're going to find these little bookmarks that you can use to mark your place throughout what you're doing. Pages that you can either use portrait or landscape style. Pages on the inside that are bagged by these little cute magazine pages, but they can still be, you can still draw art on there. I just wanted to kind of do different things, you know, with this one. And you're getting the same little bookmark at the front of that particular signature. And then, of course, you can fold up little reference photos or little reference things that you print out and take with you and put in those little pockets. Here, you kind of got the same concept going on with the middle tier. A flip up, which again is mixed media paper under it, mixed media paper in the pocket behind it. And those pockets behind these are really deep, so you can get things down in there. Like you can really transport quite a bit in this little concept. And again, now here, this particular part is for writing. I decided to put a little writing journal signature on the inside as well to go along with all of the kind of artistic stuff, so that you can take notes. Maybe you want to do a little sketching. Maybe you're doing a little brainstorming, pre-planning for a project that you're going to do in the journal. I just think it's really versatile. Here, again, tags that have places to draw or paint on, in the same pocket containing another piece of mixed media paper for you to create on. So there's a lot of creation space in this particular journal. And I think that it came together really well, and I hope it's going to make someone a really nice home. I like this journal a lot. I was not going to list it, in all honesty, but I figured, hey, why not? I'll go ahead and list it. And that, my friends, is, I didn't wrap it twice. I normally wrap it twice, but you don't have to. You can wrap it once, maybe put some beads on it. There's so many different ways you can go with this idea. I'm not sure if this is a tutorial, but if it is definitely in the DIY playlist. So go check it out in case it's there. And that, my friends, is journal number 8. Sketchbook number 9 and number 10 I'm going to show at the same time because they are pretty much the exact same concept. One is bound with 117-pound wood pulp paper. One is bound with 140-pound cold press acid-free 100% cotton paper. This one is actually bound with arches. So this one will be more of the premium style watercolor sketchbook. This one would probably what you would consider more of a student style because it is definitely 100% wood pulp. Let me show you walk you through this, should I say. So the journals are decorated basically the same. There's just different like pattern paper used for the decoration. The base of these journals is actually a paper bag, which we're going to be able to see a little bit better in just a moment. The fronts are decorated with the standard card front decoration that I've started to do. And of course, I am including as much stitching and as much sewing along with gluing with Fabrifix in order to make sure that the journals are bound to hold as long as possible. I'm kind of obsessive with this because I do not like for my work to fall apart, especially if someone is purchasing it. So, with that being said, let me show you the rest of the journals. Now, these were created in conjunction with a review I was shooting for Christy Rice's Paint Crushed On Company's swatching stamp set release, which I'll be sure to link that video in case you want to go check out the swatching stamp review. But those were used to create the idea around these journals so that I can showcase how those swatching stamps could cross over from art into crafting as well, and how they all just kind of run hand in hand together. So I'll show you this one, starting with the fact that it has a ribbon closure. You can clearly see the front. Now I use purple, couldn't get that out, purple violet pattern paper with gold accents. So I didn't do too much decorating against that because I wanted that to shine. Now immediately when you open the sketchbook, there is a paper bag pocket there for you to fit whatever you may need to fit into it. And then you get directly into the inside of the journal, which is covered with the same paper that covered the outside. Keeping in mind that that base is a paper bag, no doubt, okay? Inside is your Arches watercolor paper that is bound for whatever use you may need it to be. It is bound with black embroidery floss. There is a book board included, which is decorated around the same theme. That way you will have something to put behind your pages. If you're out traveling, that way you'll have something stable there, right? It does have adornments, accents of beads that pull in the color from the cover as well as the book board, just so everything would kind of be unified and look pretty decent together. And then you make it to the back of the journal, which is covered to match the front, of course, without the front decoration element. And that is that one. And this one is exactly pretty much the same way. The difference is the paper that I used to cover the inside of this journal. I actually took the stamping, see, still got the same paper bag pocket made from the same foundation, but the stamping followed over to the inside of this one. And I just thought it was so cool to use those stamps in the labeling stamps and actually label some of the different things. And that's on the front and the back, which I thought was really cool. This is bound with a 117-pound wood pulp paper, but it is watercolor paper, so it will take all water-soluble mediums. And this one actually has a welcome page in it. It's the first one I did like this. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this idea up. I may. Jump in the comment section and let me know. Do you think I should keep up the welcome page in all of my handcrafted journals that I'm starting? That was a newer concept that I put into just this one. I haven't put it into any other ones just yet, but I'm thinking I'm going to start. And I want to know what you guys' thoughts on that happens to be. So that, my friends, is all there is. Paper bag covered with some really pretty pattern paper, and then adorned into your heart's content. different elements added to give it a little bit more pizzazz and make it stand out. And that is journal number 9 and number 10. We have one more to go. Sketchbook number 11. Now this one has a really simple, straightforward design, but it actually has a lot of work put into it. And let's just take a closer look. Now, to start off with, the cover was simple. It's simply a piece of standard cardstock that's covered in acrylic paint. And me and my partner just sat down and went crazy, just designing a whole bunch of acrylic painted cardstock pages. After those dried, or after sitting that to the side to dry, I then took a piece of fabric, which you see covering the inside, and turned it into fabric paper. To turn it into fabric paper, I simply took a piece of fabric that I needed, cut it down to the size to fit the inside of the cardstock, and then I painted that fabric with a mixture of PVA glue and water. Allowed it to dry, which made the fabric stiff yet pliable. I adhered those two pieces together with some Fabrifix, and then I sewed around all 4 edges in order to secure those 2 pieces being adhered together. And I even left the thread tail on there just in case. I mean, I cut it off. You can cut it off. Anybody who owns it can cut it off. For the front of the journal, the backing paper was something that was made months and months back. So I received some flowers for Valentine. And as they were coming to the point where it was time to, refreshen them, some of the leaves still had a little life. So I pulled those leaves off of the roses and I laid them down inside a lamination pouch and ran it through the presser. At that point, I basically had semi-live leaves that were pressed inside the lamination pouch. Put it to the side, gave it a couple of months to dry, and the hope was that as it dried out completely, it would kind of stain the pouch, showing you the aging, and I think it turned out pretty well. So I simply took that pouch and cut it down so that I would have a panel to fit the front of the journal. In the meantime, a couple of months back, I took 2 pieces of napkins, took a 1-ply napkin and pulled those 2 plies apart. It was a solid white napkin. I laid down 1 ply and covered it with the same mixture that I used to do the fabric on the inside, which was 1/3 water, 2/3 PVA glue. I covered that first piece of napkin. Then I crumbled up the same leaves inside onto the top of that, and then covered it with the second ply, kind of putting the 2 plies back together, and put the same mixture of PVA glue and water on top of that. I set it to the side and allowed it to dry, and of course the leaves continued to dry inside the napkin. And as you can see, you get this really textured, opaque paper that has these little leaf pieces that have aged inside, and I cut down a panel to go behind the mushroom, and I thought it matched beautifully with the leaves that were inside the lamination pouch. Of course, for the mushroom, it is something that we did here on the channel. It was done with White Knight's tubes, watercolors as one of the field tests for that set. I scanned it into my printer, printed it out onto cardstock, put the cardstock into my brother's scan and cut machine, and cut it out to make it a die cut, and adhered it onto the napkin paper. And that's how I created the cover. So although it seems really simple, there was actually a lot of work that went into those simple 3 elements to form that cluster on the front of the journal. The journal itself is bound with 140-pound cold press 100% cotton watercolor paper. And I actually like this. Again, very simple and straightforward, but I think it's really, really cute. It came together really, really well. It gives me a really earthy, naturey vibe. And that is the journal number 11, my friends. That brings it to an end. I have now showed you all 11 journals. I'm really hoping that you were able to pick up on something from that. So there you have it, my friends. It is my hope that I was able to offer you some inspiration and creative ideas throughout this video that is going to help you make your sketchbook / journal creation journey a little easier. Guys, if by chance you saw something in this video that you like, please don't forget to sprinkle a little love by giving the video a thumbs up. It's going to help me and help YouTube let the algorithm know that other viewers like you would like to see this type of content. Go ahead and share the video because sharing is caring and you never know who else wants to see it. Jump in the comment section, friends. Let me know how you are feeling. How did the ideas come across to you? Do you think they are easily to implement and something you could possibly do? Don't forget to subscribe, guys. If you're new or returning and you haven't, hit that subscription button and notification bell so that you'll know when all of the content comes out, from watercolors to gouache to color pencil to watercolor pencil to journal creations. We do a little bit of it all. Alcohol, markers, oil, pastels. I love a lot of different mediums and I rotate in and out. Lastly, don't forget to check the video description for all of the relevant links. You're going to find the Facebook group link where we do encourage group participation for all artists of all levels using all mediums. You can find the Etsy link in case you guys want to go search and check out some of these journals, see if it's something you want to add to your art collection. You can also find the Patreon link where you get a lot of perks. So guys, consider joining us over in the Thrifty Patreon community. You will also find a link for the most recommended products where you can find great products for a really reasonable price that are going to perform well. Thank you guys so very much for joining me. And remember, as I tell you at the end of every single video, just keep creating.